Hey everyone, welcome back to the Blindsiders. I'm your host, Brian. Today I'm talking about the Martyr approach, the penultimate episode of Survivor Token Chains, where we see Coach sent to Exile Island. And good lord, this has been a real treat to rewatch these episodes so far. Two bangers off the back. Heroes versus villains I have next up to cover, but I I love this episode. We start off, of course, with Debbie being voted off at the previous tribal council. She wanted to get Coach out. Coach didn't see it coming. He's kind of at the whim of his Warriors alliance, which is JT and Steven, but Steven are very loyal to Taj and kind of using Aaron as another vote because Aaron's never going to work with Coach again, given the history between the pair through this game. Uh, Erin had a hard time on Exile Island when she went there, and now, they're in the course of this season. There's like the whole honor stuff that JT and Steven really played into and kind of allowed Coach to put himself and his alliance into a bad position through it by keeping JT and Steven alive in the game. And right now it's down to only two people who have not been to Exile Island, Coach and JT. And Coach starts complaining about asthma, which I doubt that he brought up before this because, very classic Coach. But he's saying it's not an excuse, but he doesn't feel like he's up to going to exile if JT wins the reward challenge. And one of the best parts about this episode is how Taj and Aaron are just like, this guy's such a loser. They don't buy into it all. JT's placating him. Steven's at least trying to be sympathetic, I feel, to Coach's imagined or real plights. We don't know, right? He could have been telling the truth. But they get to the reward challenge. It's a maze in the form of the word survivor, which is very fun. JT, of course, smokes everyone I think he wins like the rest of the challenges for this season. So very good for him. He picks Steven to come with him on a very fun reward where they're going to be basically treated as kings at the governor's mansion, get to eat tons of smoked meat, always fun. And he sends Coach to exile, who immediately says, I'm going to take the monastic approach. And Aaron calls him out for being like, you're going to take the martyr approach, which is where we get the title for this episode, where she says that Coach is going to make it as hard as possible for himself so he can say he had the hardest exile. Coach doesn't take too kindly to it, neither does Steven, for what it's worth. But Coach does do exactly what Aaron says that he's going to do on on Exile Island. He doesn't try to make a fire. He doesn't try to drink the water. He just makes a stick to walk around with and lays in a river, and then comes to the immunity challenge, very emancipated. As for Steven and JT, they talk about maybe taking Aaron out, so it leads like a little bit of potential, intrigue for the end of the episode. The challenge, it comes down to JT and Coach, and Coach is struggling, but he's not going down until Taj says like, oh, don't hurt your back more. And all of a sudden, Coach's back is really acting up out of nowhere, which is hilarious. Coach does fall. It's very dramatic. Everyone picks him up, brings him to the bench. Probst, who is kind of over Coach's shenanigans at this point in the season, comes over to him and is like, Coach, do you need medical to take a look at that? Because, like, we got medical. And Coach is like, no. If they looked at my back, they would take me out of this game, and I'm not going to let them do that, which is awesome. So we get back to camp, and Taj and Aaron want Coach gone. JT doesn't want to vote for Coach, but is okay with letting him go. And then Steven ultimately wants to vote Coach off. They get to tribal. It's a lot of, Coach believing he's safe. He tells a poem, which is just awesome. He wrote a poem on exile. He performs it for everyone. Brendan, Sierra, Tyson, all rolling their eyes on the jury. Just so over Coach at this point, but God, is he making good television for us at home. Steven, Aaron, Taj vote for Coach. Coach and JT vote for Aaron. Coach is voted off. and is now 5th place, and I think the 5th member of the jury also. And yeah, this is a great episode. Really shows Coach as this larger than life character. The edit plays like, when he's talking about having asthma, it plays like the sad Survivor music from this time that the really reserved for when people are having these emotional situations that is like undercut by Steven being like, I don't know. I don't know if he's really telling the truth, where it stops playing the music. Just some great stuff. Love Coach. So excited for him to come back this for season 50. What a great kind of finale for him in this season, and what a great reintroduction for those of us who haven't binged any of Coach's seasons lately. What are your thoughts about this episode? Do you love it as much as I do? Let me know in the comments. And unfortunately, the Forza buff, you can kind of see it's green, but it's the same green as my green screen. So, oh well. But yeah, very fun. And one of the joys of this is getting to show off all of my buffs I've collected over the years. So let me know your thoughts about this one. Please subscribe to Better Radio channel if you're watching it there. Follow our podcast on any podcast services, and check out our TikTok, which is GameBots, where we have all of the clips for social strategy games that we cover. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.